Today we're going to be doing the reaction video number 4, technically number 5, but we're reacting to the number 4 video of Unmasking Magic with Cam. The title today for their video is We Both Attached at different times by the same witch. I think that that's supposed to be we both were attacked. I don't know. I haven't watched this video at all. I have no idea. So we're going to watch it together. If you're wondering what this is a series that I'm doing on this channel. And hey, I'm Mel. So let me introduce myself really quickly. I own Mel's Divination, and I have been on a hiatus and am getting back into things on the YouTube channel. I'm a tarot reader. I'm a witch. I'm a spiritual practitioner. I'm a teacher, among many other things. And it was brought to my attention to reflect on what some other people have been posting on YouTube, and I've decided to do this, and it's been going pretty well. I recommend you go back and watch at least the first video because I explain a little bit more as far as this specific series with these people, who they are, where the idea came from, and all that. I'm not going to keep repeating myself in every video. Besides that, welcome. It is, as I'm filming, August 22nd. I'm not sure when I'm going to release this. It's probably going to be the following week. I'm only editing out the ad breaks and the glitches. I don't edit myself. There were a lot of glitches in the first few lives that I tried to do. So unfortunately, right now I've been doing this more recorded than live, but I try not to edit out any of my reactions, any of the things that are important as far as that is concerned. As of a little bit of housekeeping, I do tarot readings. That's my general day-to-day life job that I offer, my services that I offer. And until August 31st, 2025, depending on when you're watching this, I am running a 50% off sale on everything on my website except for my course. So my website, melsdivination.com, hop over there and check it out. We're going to get started. I'm going to share my screen and we're going to start watching this video right away. I do want to just say before I get going, this is my opinion. This is my personal reaction. These are my personal thoughts. I'm not going to be trying to assume anything that is implied or intended. I'm just going to be sharing what I'm thinking about what's being said. And I also don't know these people. That's another thing. Okay, let's jump right into it. Hey guys, and welcome. This is Mel from Mel's Divination. If you like the channel, we do all kinds of witchy and YouTube-y tarot things here. Make sure you subscribe, comment, share, and like the videos to help us with the algorithm. See you all soon.
Hey, we told you, or I told you, I think it was actually came out of my mouth, that we would tell you when we were attacked.
Attacked. Okay, attacked. So that is what that title is supposed to mean. And I actually, for a quick second, I'm going to not minimize this, but exit full screen part. I want to see when this was posted. June 25th, 2025. I believe this was done after. I'm going to double check while you guys are sitting here with me. I believe this was done after my first reaction video. I think. Let's see. View channel, live. My first reaction video I did on, what's the date? Where is the date? August 4th. So this was posted well before that. Okay, that's just what I wanted to see. They're not talking about me. I didn't attack them anyway, but they're not talking about me. So let's see what they have to say. This is going to be an interesting journey. I usually put 1.5 speed or 1.25 because they're usually.
It's not happening at the moment. I apologize for that. It wasn't a good time when we really want to be able to get online, either both of us or one of us or whatever, when it's happening.
And sometimes at some point it will happen.
Yes.
I'm
yes. But we're going to tell you what happened and how it looked, how it felt, the whole thing. So this is what it's like when we get attacked.
And it's not fun.
It is not fun. It is not fun. And I want to reiterate this because I have clients who are ex-witches. I have, as I've gotten into this more and I've been helping people and I've been sort of whatever, I'm reminded all the time that when we get attacked by witches, or when we're talking about witches, or there's certain aspects of witchy stuff that is, I don't like, that is unethical, sometimes immoral, it's not good. I tend to bunch it all together and I'll say witches this and witches that. I sort of throw them all in there together. If what we say does not apply to you, then we're not talking about you.
Yep.
Okay. So yes, there are witches, sort of in little air quotes here, that do not invade other people's spaces, that do not attack people, that do not go out after people. We know that. And we're not talking about you. So I want to make that sort of disclaimer right at first.
It's comparable to talking about psychics.
100%.
Because there are so many fraudulent psychics, whether you're not psychic and you're claiming to be, or you are psychic and you're using that for fraud.
Yes. So. And when people will ask, what do you do for a living?
I'm going to make my comments about psychic.
This. And the look on their face, because they just want, yes. And so, I get it. I get what that means. And I no longer take it personal. It's like, what I say now is, oh, you've had a bad experience, haven't you? Or you've really heard, some bad ones out there. You've heard some stories or whatever. Yes. So, all right, without further ado, let's just jump in.
Okay, before they really get going, I do just want to talk about that for a quick second. And I've talked about this. I talked about this at length in my previous reaction video. Their attitude about witches is very negative, and as of the last reaction, so reaction video number 3, their last video, they apparently got some pushback about being offended and being offensive, and I compared it to racism. I'm not going to go into the full spiel about it again. Feel free to go back and watch that other video to hear me really talk about it. But saying that it doesn't apply, if you're not like this, it doesn't apply to you, is the same as saying something, some overarching stereotypical comment about a race. Black people, for instance, is what I used previously, because unfortunately, a lot of Black people, the stereotype is that they're criminals. Not all, of course not. I don't believe any of that. I'm just using it as an example. And so if I sat here and said, and hopefully nobody quotes this out of context for me, but if I sat here and said, Black people are all criminals, but that doesn't apply to you if that's not you, that's still making a racist comment, right? Same thing. You can't make a negative generalized comment about a culture, a religion, a faction, a category, and then say, but it doesn't apply to you if you're offended. It doesn't work like that. You can't do that. Okay. I'm done with talking about that. Let's keep going.
And you get to start because it started with you.
Because it started with me.
This will be interesting.
So it happened to have been one of those rare mornings where my husband got up early and went hunting. So I get up and I'm alone. And that very rarely does that happen.
He gets up early, friends.
When he goes hunting, he gets up early. Marshall. So I knew I was going to have the morning to myself. And I already had this mindset, right, of kind of how my morning was going to go. And it was going to be bliss.
Yes.
And I woke up kind of not blissful. Out of the get-go. And as my morning goes along, I'm kind of down on myself. And there is some negative self-speak. There are some negative feelings and thoughts and old feelings.
Yes.
And it kind of it enveloped me. The feeling was, it started in the center of my heart space and it came out and wrapped around me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I eventually started going, why? What happened? And yes, there was a very insignificant thing that I could think of, and that's not the important piece. And I started thinking, okay, there's that piece, and look at my reaction.
Mm-hmm.
My reaction was so out of proportion.
Yes.
And I think, if memory serves me right, I didn't get the full picture until after I had messaged you.
Right.
Is that right?
Yep.
I reached out to Pam and I'm like,
yes. And that's, can I interrupt here?
Yes.
So one of the things is what you just said is very important to be aware of. If your reaction does not match the situation that just happened, you're in some sort of trigger. You're in fight or flight, and something is going on. So to be sort of thoughtful and look in, like, and really be honest, what is happening right here? This, especially if you're like in a group of people and everyone's looking at you like what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, now, what just happened? And a trigger doesn't have to be a big thing. A trigger could be even going in. A trigger could just be whatever my emotion and reaction is at the moment does not fit the current situation or some event that just happened.
Now, if wounding is triggered, just very simple, right? Your wounding gets triggered. Your knee-jerk reaction might be like this, whether it's internal or external, it doesn't fit.
Right.
And sometimes we're able to go like, ooh, okay, I'm triggered. Reel it in. Here's the reality. You're triggered. This isn't personal. And you move on, right? And you deal with it at an appropriate time. Now, the difference for me was this extreme reaction almost grew as the morning went on. It started off kind of subtle, and it grew, and it morphed.
Yes.
And even though there was this slight realization that there was a trigger happening, there was in the moment nothing I was doing about it. And it felt like nothing I could do about it.
And I'm going to say, at the moment, you were alone. So sometimes, like if you're in a group of people, or say her husband would have been home or something like that, you kind of have distractions to kind of help you move through it, really, or kind of see it sooner or whatever. But we all know what it's like to be home alone, and you're just going about your stuff, and things start percolating. So it's easy for that to happen when you're alone, which is also another reason they like to hit you when you're alone.
Oh God.
So when Pam finally said something about
commercial,
I'm sorry, I don't remember what your verbiage was to me, but cluing me in, is this really you?
Because it was not Mary Lynn. This stuff that was coming up for her was like, who are you? You don't speak to yourself that way. Wait, that's more of me talking to me that way. That's not you.
Okay. I have thoughts. I am going to let them continue. I'm not going to go on very long about this. All of this just feels absolutely ridiculous from what they're saying. This is evidence of a witch attack on Mary Lynn. So please don't be like, oh my God, that's why that day I had a bad morning. Not necessarily. Okay. And it also feels like Pam immediately started putting ideas in Mary Lynn's head. But and the whole like, oh, they come at you when you're alone. How would they even know that you're alone? You're telling me that they're that stalky that they're trying to find out that you're alone? Probably from the remote viewing that they claim that they do, the spying. All right, let's just keep going. We'll get back to this.
Hold up, back up the boat. What the hell is going on here? And that's when I sort of lean. So Mary Lynn and I we have no guards up with each other. we have permission from each other at any time. If something feels off, you have the right to lean in. So I don't have to ask her. Other friends, I will ask them, or sometimes even you, I'll say, we'll ask each other, do you want me to look at that or not?
We'll ask.
But this one,
I started asking because, that whole codependent piece.
Yes.
I started asking more often because, right? To get myself accountable.
Yes.
And.
Yeah. So that's when I leaned in. I went, oh, you got someone thinking about you here. You got someone wanting you to feel this way. You need to check in with that.
Yeah. And then I'm like, oh,
mother,
that explains that extreme. Yeah. That explains. It explains that. Oh my God, what they're bringing me is that drain that I was in. This wasn't a rabbit hole. This was a drain. And I'm circling, and I am going down. As soon as it was like, oh, and I started to tune in, I absolutely could feel the energy of another person wanting me to feel bad about me.
Yes.
Wanting me to implode.
Yes.
And I was working hard at it.
Yes. So before we go into what you did, I'd like to tell my story, and then we can kind of go into then what do you do then?
What do you do?
That. So
okay. I don't want to interrupt too much because I'm wondering if they talk about some of what I want to comment on, and maybe it makes my comments unnecessary. Like I said, I have not watched this before, so I had no idea what to expect about this. The first thing, and I'm taking notes as they're talking so that I can come back and I don't have to interrupt every time. But Mary Lynn said something about it. I was going to the extreme. It was just getting more and more extreme, and so that explains it was just getting more and more extreme. And then Pam said, "Oh, but I look in, somebody's really thinking about you. They want you to feel this way." And then Mary Lynn's like, "Oh my God, that explains so much." So have you guys ever just woken up and had a bad morning? And you just had a bad morning. Maybe you had a dream you don't remember. Maybe there's just some emotions coming up. For me personally, it happens to me a lot when I'm going to get my period. I mean, these women are older than me by at least 10 years, I think, from looking at them. So I don't know if they even get their periods anymore. I'm 42. But so that will happen to me a lot. Like I'll get these irrational emotions of being easily upset about stuff that I really can't explain why. I also suffer from major anxiety, and especially since my mother passed. And so sometimes feelings come up that I can't really explain. It does not mean I'm being attacked by a witch. I have never once been like, oh my God, I must be getting attacked by somebody. Oh, I'm alone, so I must be getting attacked. That's got to be what it is. It's so extreme. When really a lot of times it's just emotions that you've ignored, neglected, suppressed that are coming up for one reason or another in your life. Something, maybe you watched something the night before that you didn't even realize your brain subconsciously connected it. It does not, please do not make that your jump to, oh, I've got to be getting attacked. That's obviously what's going on here with these women. They immediately, like Mary Lynn didn't even think that way until Pam was like, oh, somebody's thinking about you. Pam plants the seed of fear, which is what they do, what Pam does. And I've said this in every video. And Mary Lynn is like, oh my God, you're right. That's why. It's not because of me. I don't have anything wrong with me. And that cracks me up because in the last several videos, these two were very judgy about people using witchcraft and saying, own your shit. Well, Mary Lynn's not owning her shit. Her emotions are hers. And she's blaming this extreme emotion on some witch when really it's hers. And on top of that, so those are just that was old stuff. And could somebody have been attacking her? Maybe. I mean, I really don't think it's happening as frequently as these two are claiming it's happening to them, but maybe. I mean, we're on the internet. It could potentially happen. I'm not saying that it 100% didn't happen, but I would say 99.7% chance that it did not happen. All right. And then the other thing that drives me bonkers with these two is they've repeatedly said that spells and witchcraft isn't real and it doesn't work. Well, then if it isn't real and it doesn't work, then how could this reaction, how could this emotional extreme be somebody attacking you if it doesn't work? It's working. Sounds like it's working. It's working if it's actually happening. It's oh, my brain just goes, what? Okay, let's see what Pam has to say. I'm sure it's going to be just as whatever. They're definitely not, like, take a minute and look at yourself and meditate and ground and maybe get outside, get some fresh air, use a crystal. Oh, they don't use tools. Sorry. Like, journal, use some typical tools that people would even just use in psychology and see what the hell's coming up. I bet you money it had nothing to do with being attacked by a witch. Okay, let's go.
It was actually with a client. It was at the end of a session, but I was with a client, and all of a sudden I'm having these thoughts of, you're not that great of a teacher. What do you think you're doing being this kind of teacher? And I'm like, feeling that. I'm like,
good.
What? You're right. Like, I'm not. Why do I've done this for I don't know how many years. Why do I keep doing it? I'm really not that good at this. And that's sort of the drain I was in. And I'm with my client, and I'm trying not to let her. Now, if it were a student who I'm working with on healing or something, I would have said.
I'm going to talk more about this with Pam in a minute, but that can just be simple, traditional, typical imposter syndrome. Not that I think that she's really, I don't know. We'll talk about that part in a minute, but that happens to everybody who questions their skills. That's imposter syndrome. That's not witchcraft attack.
Hey, this is coming up. This is a great lesson. You want to look in and work this out, but it was not that time.
And there's no coincidence. That's not by accident.
No,
that was by design.
Yes.
By design.
Yes. They like to catch you when you're at kind of you're vulnerable.
Vulnerable.
That was vulnerable for me. I was there I was not teacher that day. I was a healer that day. So this person came to me for a healing. It's a longtime client, but that's all she gets. It's just healings. So I'm doing this healing, and then I'm getting this, you're not good enough. What are you doing? You're, blah, 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 blah. And so I'm okay. Well, see you next time you need a healing. Bye. I got off really fast off that session. And yeah, I knew that wasn't me, but those were the feelings. And I was going down. I text Mary Lynn. I'm like, dude, should I continue to do this? Am I really in the right place? Blah, blah, blah. Yes. And those feelings are so unfounded. We always say that fear lies to you.
What I do want to say, I don't know how Pam practices healing. I don't know. I will never be a client of hers. I will never give her my money. So I do not know what her approach is to healing. But I can say, if she has abilities, if she is actually doing the healing, and I'm going to try to give her the benefit of the doubt for that, because who am I to say either way? If it's when we're open to a client, when I'm open to a client and I'm doing tarot, and that's why I wear stuff on my head a lot. If I'm open to a client and I'm doing a reading for somebody, and it's a very emotionally intense reading, if the client has anxiety, if the client has been drinking, if the client has been doing drugs, if the client is just freaking out, if the client is in a deep emotion, I will often feel that, and it will fuck with me, which is why a lot of times I use different types of modalities to help cushion myself from absorbing. And early on, when I started doing readings via Skype or via Zoom or whatever over video, I started to realize I was picking up so much more of the client's energy than I was used to. And I didn't notice it right away. And it'd be like, why am I feeling this way? Why am I feeling so dizzy? Why am I feeling this? And I wouldn't know what the cause was. And I would have these feelings, and it's because it was coming from the customer. And I bet money that that's what's going on with Pam. Not a psychic attack, not a witchcraft attack, but more if she was truly healing, that client may have had some imposter syndrome feelings about themselves, and Pam absorbed them. And if she has been doing this practice, this work for as long as she claims, she should know that. That's what a seasoned healer, reader, psychic, energy worker would know. She should know that if she's been doing it for that long. So this is it's so interesting to me that immediately they jump to fear. We always say that fear lies to you. Yeah, they jump to fear. I'm being attacked. Or could you maybe have just been absorbing that client's energy? And I also like how they say the witches do it when you're vulnerable. So Pam was vulnerable when she was doing a healing. Like, again, as I said with Mary Lynn, when Mary Lynn said she was alone, how the hell would a witch know that? Do they have secret cameras in your house? Like, people can remote view, sure, or astral project, but most are not so skilled that they can see that you're alone or that you're in the middle of a teaching. Like, that's just asinine is what it is. It's ridiculous is what it is, because it's very rare. So for instance, okay, I'm going to tell a quick spell work story. There's a spell that I used to do that was a call me spell. And this was 5-6 years ago now, when my person at the time was not really talking to me much. And I wanted contact. I wanted them to reach out to me. They hadn't been reaching out to me. I felt very isolated. I wasn't in a good place. And this was back before I stopped doing a lot of love spells on people. And so I did a call me spell. And the call me spell recommends doing it at a certain time of day, but it's not like do it at 3:33 in the afternoon or something. It was about do it when you think that they're going to bed, so that you're in their mind while they're sleeping and they wake up and they want to reach out to you. And they're more receptive at night, because our subconscious is like our conscious brain is more quiet, and send them that imagery of you. That was what, and again, that's not really, I mean, of course, I'm sure Pam and Mary Lynn would absolutely hate that spell because it's bending free will, but it's really not, because guess what? He didn't call, not for a while. So it doesn't bend free will to the point of where they stop being themselves. Anyway, so did I know what time of night he was going to bed? No, it could have been anywhere from 10 o'clock at night to 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning even. Could have been anywhere in that window of time. So it was a guesstimate. I wasn't like astral projecting or remote viewing him in his room, in his home, in his body to see if he's in bed. So this very like specific teeny tiny ass window that they're claiming that this witch had to do it in is it's just unrealistic, and it tells me what little experience they have with witchcraft. Please let me know if you think, or if you've done witchcraft, because I don't know everything about magic. There's so many lines of practices that I have not experienced, that I have not been in, that I don't know. And I'm not pretending to know it all, because I sure as hell don't. There's so much I could learn still, and I will be learning for the rest of my life. So I do not pretend to be some big master at it, but let me know. Like, I am curious, because there could be practices out there where you actually can tell. None that I know of, but that doesn't mean I'm 100% right. So, and that's the difference between me and these people. You're going to notice is I'm like, I'm open to other opinions. I'm open to other perspectives. I'm open to other pathways. And they never ask for that. We're going to keep going.
Yes.
And that's one thing that witches, these witches that like to attack, they like to, well, they get in through fear. And there were her words coming through. She was getting in and telling me what to think and feel, just like with Mary Lynn. It turned out to be the same witch. So she tried with Mary Lynn. Mary Lynn
How
figured
did you
out,
know it was
stopped
the
it,
same one?
and then she came to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they're going to explain to us how they know it's the same witch. How do you know that? Let's see.
So
it's kind of like a double-edged sword, being attacked by a witch in this manner and being psychic.
oh, very double-edged. Yeah.
Because as they send the energy of what they want us to think, they don't know particularly what our wounding is, but they know wounding's going to attach to it.
Right.
But as psychics, we can pick up.
Whenever I've done baneful magic, I've never done it with that kind of intention before. I've never done it with, oh, please go after their wounding. Never. Has that ever happened? Have any of you guys done that? I've never done it with that kind of intent before. So I'm wondering, I'm curious, those of you that practice baneful magic, have any of you ever done some kind of baneful magic that it intentionally targets somebody's wounding? I guess there are spells out there like that. I'm sure there are, about making them feel bad about themselves or making them question. I'm sure there are. I've never practiced that kind of spell work, and I don't know if I even have any spells like that in any of the materials that I have. I'm gonna take note of that, and then I'll look into that. And when I edit, I'll put like a slide right after this, immediately after this, to tell you if I found any spells like that. Okay. Let's keep going. Oh, bye.
Their thoughts.
When they're thinking about how many times, Marilyn, you and I do this all the time. Excuse me. Somebody will pop into my head and I'll text them and say, hi, whatever. And they'll say, how did you know I was thinking about you? Or
right.
Because you learn that just sort of comes. I know that person's thinking about me.
Right. It's not that we're reading minds.
No, not at all.
It's that we're reading the energy.
Yes. And I'm not, and we don't even lean into it.
No.
So like I said, just pick up my phone, I text them, hi, whatever. And that's it. And if they have something to say, they say it. If they don't, they don't. It's
right. Yeah. So it can be like that double-edged sword, because we're getting it from like two different sides.
And witches, one of the things that they do, as you know, when they attack, is it's like they're surfing, and they surf in on the vibration of fear. And so wherever I was vulnerable. I was just sitting with a client, helping her with her fear, with her wounding, with some trauma, really deep trauma that had come up. And so that was all.
Look at that. She was helping her with her wounding. Isn't that what I said?
All over me was her energy in this fear. So she was able to slide right in there.
Yeah.
No, that's exactly what I hypothesized. That's exactly what I was guessing. That you've opened yourself up to connect with the client, to heal or to work with them. And this client needed healing, and this client had some kind of healing stuff that was going on, emotions that came up, and you absorbed them and took them in as your own. This has nothing to do with a witch. This has nothing to do with a witch until they can say, oh yeah, we know for sure that this person did this spell because they told us. It's all nonsense as far as I'm concerned right now.
Bitch.
Yeah. Yep. So,
yes.
So Pam knew that it wasn't all her.
Yes.
And
partly because you had just gone through it. That was part of it.
And I said, oh my God, is this the same person? Is this the same?
Oh, let's see.
Trying to infiltrate TCS, basically. Trying to cause rifts and separation.
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And they do attack when they're threatened. They can be paid to attack. Some of them,
right?
I think those are almost the worst. People just come to them and say, I really hate this person. She did this or that to me. And here's some money. Go attack them. But somebody is threatened by you, I guess.
Someone is, right.
Someone is. But typically witches attack because they're put back on their heels. They don't want you to succeed because it looks bad for them. It feels bad. Whatever, their ego is bruised. In this case, this particular witch, she was bruised and came after us.
So they still haven't said how they know it was the same person. They haven't said. They're just presuming because Mary Lynn had an experience that Pam planted the thought in her head that she was being attacked, by the way, because Mary Lynn had an experience. It must be the same person. And often witches don't, I mean, there are lots of people out there who practice witchcraft who use it as a retaliation or use it to watch others fail that they don't like. Yeah, but the level of energy for it to be done properly, the level of energy that you have to put into a baneful magic spell for it to work is a lot. And seasoned, I'm not going to talk about baby witches because baby witches is a totally different world because a lot of them don't have the knowledge or the education or the understanding of when to practice magic, when not to practice, when to wait. Like they just, a lot of times they jump in and that's their journey. So I'm not talking about inexperienced witches. I'm talking about more seasoned witches. Even like intermediate or people have been practicing for a couple of years, they're not going to waste their energy to see if somebody is failing, to force somebody to fail. That is like not even a consequence to them. Like, for instance, I don't believe a witch would attack these two unless if these two were doing something to that witch. Typically, that's what happens. Typically. Because the amount of energy that would need to be put into it for it to be successful isn't worth wasting. That's just what more seasoned witches feel, typically. Of course, there's always the outliers. And I'm not talking about the outliers. The outliers they're kind of wild cards. So sometimes they will curse anybody, and that happens too. But majority wouldn't do that. All right, let's see what else they have to say.
So typically, that's how witches attack, by the way. It's not like what you see in the movies where things start shaking, things fall off the walls, you have scratches, and can all that happen? Sure, it really can. Yes. But typically this is the
You've seen that?
They sort of
Did you record it?
Just surf in on that fear and hit you where they can hit you. Then they start throwing negative verbiage at you and so forth because they want you to they want you to stop doing something. They want you to feel bad so you give up.
Yep. And our fears, our wounding, our egos even are right there ripe for, oh, there's a low vibration. I'm going to grab it.
Yes. Yep. And that's how it works. And it happens to all of us. No one is immune, by the way. No one is immune to having low vibrational thoughts, to sort of go to that place. We're human. We're meant to go there.
Have you ever just had a bad day and thought negatively about yourself? Doesn't mean you're being attacked by a witch. Please don't think that. Please don't jump to that conclusion. I'm going to use an example here, and it's going to be kind of extreme, but there's a lot of evil people out there. And I'm not talking about witchcraft. I'm talking about general mundane life. There's a lot of bad people out there in the world. There's a lot of people that are violent. There's people that are, we'll go with violence for now. And or people that even just like break into your home. So here's a wound that I have, and I don't mind sharing it because it's not a big deal. When I was little, very little, somebody broke into our house and stole money. And my mom was so freaked out by it. I remember being very little, and it's one of my first scary memories that I have as a kid. And my mom was all freaked out. I actually I'll have to tell this full story another time because there's some funny stuff there that shows that I had abilities even at that age. But somebody broke into the home and violated our sense of safety. Didn't hurt anybody. None of us even saw the person. They were in and out before we even woke up in the dead of the night. But it still is a violation, and it's scary, right? There's people that do that. There's people that do that all the time, all over the world. There could be somebody that lives 3 houses down from me that does something like that, right? 3 houses down from you, in the next apartment over. There's people that do that all over the place. But to live in fear that, oh my God, somebody's going to break in. There's people all over the world that break in. There's so many of them. That it's so possible that they're going to come and get me if I'm not protected. Blah, 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 blah. That's the same thing as being like, oh, they find your low vibration, they come at you. No. Generally, no. Does it happen? Sure. But statistically, and this is why I'm comparing it to crime, like violence or break-ins or something like that. Statistically, it is unlikely. That happened to us when I was very little. And I lived in a safe suburb where it's very farmland. And it happened when I was very little. Since then, I have lived in some really bad places as far as safety is concerned. My very first apartment was in a really unsafe neighborhood, and I lived there for 2 years. Nothing ever happened to me there. One of my other apartments there was a shooting right down the street. Nothing that ever happened to me there. So have I ever been broken into since by my car or by my where I'm living? No, never since. And I don't know anybody else it's ever happened to either. So statistically, it's actually really small. And that's my point with this. Yes, it exists, but it's very rare that something like this would happen. Okay? All right, let's keep going.
Sure.
Yeah. So should we talk about how,
I wonder what else.
What do we do to get out of it? By the way, no one is immune to having low vibrational thoughts, to sort of go to that place. We're human. We're meant to go there. So,
we are.
Yeah. So should we talk about how, what do we do to get out of it?
How do we counter it?
Yes. So do you want me to start?
Sure.
They counter.
So countering.
How do they counter the fake witch attack? Let's see what they say. The fake witch attack, because we don't believe in witchcraft, but it's happening, but it's not happening, but it's fake. Like, how? This is such BS. All right, let's see.
This takes practice, by the way.
Of course,
this takes a lot of practice. It sounds really easy. It does. Like, it sounds like, oh, I can do that. It takes practice. When you get hit and you're in that low vibration, you're circling the drain, and all of a sudden you realize someone's attacking you. It's really easy. The first emotion you go to is anger. Who the fuck are you? And who the hell do you think you are? That is literally.
Oh, I wanted to make one more comment. Sorry, guys. I totally forgot about this part. I wanted to say something about when Mary Lynn, back when she was saying, oh, her emotions got extreme. We can get ourselves worked up very easily if we're dwelling on emotions. We can get ourselves worked up over fear, over anger, over sadness. I get myself very worked up over grief. There's some kind of ambulance, police, fire thing going on in my neighborhood. So I'm sorry, you guys, if that's interrupting the filming. But I can get really wound up over my grief. And I haven't shared too much lately about that journey, and I will at some point. I am planning on doing a whole video about it. But if I let myself go, I will spiral. out of control and I won't be able to calm down and I'll end up in panic attacks and I'll end up making myself literally physically ill. And that's not because I'm being attacked by a witch. It's because I have strong emotions. That's all that is. So I did just want to clarify that we can get ourselves worked up. Like if something happens that's angering or frustrating, that something happened to me this past week, that I was spiraling out of control because how dare this person do this? How dare they? Don't they know? They know what I'm going through. How dare they? And I got myself really worked up over it because of the layer of grief and burdens that I've already been carrying and how heavy my stuff is. And I started to spiral. And after talking to a family member, I was able to pull myself back out of it. But at first I spiraled. It didn't mean I was being attacked. It means I had extreme emotions because of all the stuff that I'm going through. That's all that is. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry.
The first place you go. We all do it. Yes, yes, yes.
And it doesn't matter who it is.
No. So that's the first place you go. So really, you have to rise above that.
Oh.
And not just stop being angry. Not just stop being angry. This is where practice comes in. It's not just about that. It's about finding your ownership, your authority, your righteousness, not
righteousness. Yeah. That's a Christian word. Okay, I'm going to actually increase our speed. I screwed up before and jumped us from 20 something minutes and all the way down to here because I was trying to click on the speed settings. I realized that I've had them at 1.25 and they're still talking pretty slow for me. So I'm going to up them to 1.5 speed wise. And we're going to keep going with that to speed them up a bit because they're slow talkers. And I'm not a big fan of slow talking. All right, here we go.
Righteousness. We're talking about righteousness. I have a right to be here. And this is not in anger. Again, this is not defiance. This is not anger. This is not retaliation. This is not any of that. This is stepping into really your soul's purpose, your soul's journey, just your soul, whatever that verbiage is. And I know you'll come up with it. And standing in that we talk about this all the time. We really see two vibrations. We see love and fear.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other emotions are within those two sections, right? Mm-hmm. Is to come into love, come into who you are, and to stand tall in that, in your authority. And that's when you can back them off. And they do. They jump on their brooms and head out. They
do.
But it takes a lot of practice to get there.
It does.
Of practice.
So basically just saying, no, this isn't okay. And the reason that works is because they literally just talk themselves out of freaking out. It doesn't work as in repelling a witch. It works as in it pulls them back into their bodies from what they were freaking out about, which had nothing to do with witchcraft at all. But they claim own your shit. But that, like, all of this is psychology. All of this is psychology. None of what they're talking about is actual magic. But they're blaming it all on magic, which I think is terrible.
It does. And when you practice it, you don't have time to get over the anger. Yep. You learn how to anger, you got to go over here.
Yes.
Fear, you got to go over here.
Yes.
Because right now, I am stepping into the high vibration of me.
Yes. Yep.
I do that with my grief. I do that with my grief spiral. Not in exactly the way they're saying it, but I'll start to spiral and I'll be like, oh, I can't do, you interrupt the thoughts. That is a tool that they teach in therapy, in counseling, in grief, in all kinds of things. You interrupt the intrusive thoughts that are starting to get out of control, that are getting out of control, and you say, no, I'm not going to go down that hole, and you do something, you look someplace else, anywhere else. Sometimes for me, it's get on the treadmill and move my body. Sometimes for me, it's get outside. And sometimes for me, it's go and spend time with the cat. Sometimes it's literally pick up the phone and talk to somebody, or even do a reading. Sometimes a reading for a customer. It's interrupting that spiral and putting that spiral down because you got to focus over here instead. I've done that to myself when my godfather died in 2023, Thanksgiving 2023. When I got to my mom's house, that's when she told me, and it was like 10:15 in the morning, and I needed to help my mother because my mother was not in her best physical form. She was sick. She wasn't as bad as she wasn't too bad, but my mother was cooking Thanksgiving dinner, and she needed me to be there mentally and physically to help her with the entire dinner, with all of it, with every single dish that she was in the process of cooking. And if I had allowed those thoughts, those feelings to come up in that moment, I would have been completely useless to her. It's called compartmentalization. It's not witchcraft. It's not spirituality. It's compartmentalization. You put this thing, you table it for now. You can come back to it. But right now, I can't melt down over this. And I did it to myself driving home from their house on Thanksgiving as well, because if I started to cry while driving, I would have been a sobbing wreck and I would have gotten into a car accident, and that's not safe. I can't think about this right now. We're going to think about something else. And you just change channels. Does take work. It's taken me a lot of work over the years to be able to do that and have that control. Sometimes I still struggle with that control. It's taken me a long, long time to be able to control that. But that is not witchcraft, spirituality, healing, psychic, that none of those things. It is literally a psychological tool for coping. It's a coping mechanism. So this nonsense, please. Now, before I go any further, though, it's a good coping mechanism when you need it. When you need it, it's a healthy coping mechanism when you have to activate it. Is it good to do only that? Where it can also go on the extreme where you never let yourself feel anything because you compartmentalize everything. That's not good either. Anything can go to extremes. So I'm talking about, I put it aside for now. I can breathe when I get home and I'm safe and I don't have to do anything and I have time to myself. Like, that's what I did. So I didn't put it aside and never grieved it, never thought of it again, never allowed myself that space. But I put it aside until I could have that safe space to process those feelings. Now, I don't know where I don't know. I don't even know what I was going to say about that, but let's just keep going for now. Because I feel like with them, they're so high on their horse about their beliefs that they really don't see any other alternative. And this is just what they're describing as mundane psychological tools for coping. And it's like they either don't have a clue, which I guess is possible, or their egos, as they would say, are so big that they think that they know everything about everything and they got all the answers. I'm not sure. All right, let's go.
Exactly. And truly, that's where you need to be to get them to go. And they do. Believe me, they do.
And when you step into that high vibration of you, that vibration that is love, and I'm not talking, I love you.
No.
I'm talking, I am spirit.
Yes.
Living this human life.
Ego. Sorry, guys, that was a commercial. But I did want to say, what they're saying right now is so ego. I am spirit. Okay. It's also very Christian based.
Where I am, and this is my space.
Yes. And there's another step here. Sorry, go ahead. So the next step then is because we don't retaliate. That's not it. But you're reminded that everyone is human, has
Oh.
a life. This is it.
Oh, what I wanted to say, I remembered what I lost before. So these are their tools for sending a witch that's putting a spell on you away. And when you stand in your love or yourself or your soul and say, I'm spirit, it sends it away. All that's doing is sending away the fearful thoughts. It's sending away, it's compartmentalizing, like I said. It's putting aside those negative thoughts. That doesn't send a witch away. It's not, that's what it's doing. They're not seeing reality at all for some reason, because they're so twisted in this world of witches are bad and they're out here to attack us and they're attacking us, and this is what happens when they attack us, and this is how we fix it, when really they're just fixing themselves. This could be a really good thriller movie, suspense, about two old ladies. They're not that old. Two women who think that they're being attacked by witches, but really it's their own thoughts. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. But that's what it reminds me of. I've been watching like really bad horror, thriller, suspense movies lately, and that's what it's making me think of. It's not real. It's not real. This story, this narrative that they've created, I don't think is real. Again, these are my opinions. I could be wrong. Tell me if you think, am I wrong? Do you think that this storyline that they're telling is real? Or is this all in their heads? And they're so scared of witches because witches are out to attack everybody that they're over here believing that somebody's attacking them.
A traumatized, anyone who attacks you is broken and traumatized, and they have a shitty life. They are not happy people.
Not happy people. And
to go to that place without going to the codependent place, without going to the, oh, that poor thing. No. You can't.
It's more like, oh, that person's broken.
Yeah.
It's that person's wounding.
Okay. And then because we do what we do and we've learned, there's a step above that. So they get they get the justice they deserve through that, but it has nothing to do with us. Spirit takes care of all of that. It's not our ego, because my ego says, I want the bitch to get hit by a bus. And you know, that is not.
Wow. They get the justice they deserve. The witch that doesn't even exist, that your imaginary, the imaginary witch that's putting the imaginary spell on you is going to get the justice that they deserve. Wow. I don't have any words for that.
That's retaliation, right?
I'm going to say that's a little more violent than where my ego goes. However, mine goes to way more personal.
Yes.
Like, explosive diarrhea.
Yeah. And no. And that's not where we go. And
you know what's funny? People say that you can actually curse somebody just by saying those things. I hope you have explosive diarrhea. I hope Tom Jones has explosive diarrhea. Supposedly that just by putting that out there, you're speaking it into existence. I think that's a little extreme in my opinion, but technically they just did that.
You find yourself going there, you're in the wrong lane. You're in the wrong lane.
Yeah.
So, yes, and it takes practice, of course. Yeah. So that's the way it happens.
But when you are standing in that vibration of yourself and of that self-love, you also have to realize that you are responsible for you.
Yes.
That you are taking ownership of your thoughts. You're taking ownership of your actions and your reactions, your emotions and your feelings. And when you do that,
sorry,
they got nowhere to be. So,
yep. And there's one thing that neither one of us said, which I can't believe neither one of us said. You have to get grounded. You have to be grounded, right? How did we? Some things come so because we've done it for so long. It's just
we take that for granted.
Yes, we do. And so, really, the very, very first step in training, in your learning, in your practice, is being grounded and not just learning how to do that. Because we've had many people come to us who are practitioners and they just want to learn more because we do sort of extended classes, whatever.
Continuing education, I
Thank
think
you.
the website calls it.
Yes, yes. And
Yeah.
they think they know how to get grounded. So they'll say, I'll say to them, go ahead and get grounded, connected, and then we'll see. And I'm like, oh, we need to go back to basics. Yes.
And then is that a point where you go, would you tap your shoulders? And then would you tap
yeah. Are you in your body?
Are you even in your body to be able to get grounded?
Yes.
And when you're in that wounding,
yeah,
trying to get grounded can be hard.
Yeah.
But it's necessary.
You have to. You can't do really this work without it.
Mm-mm.
There's no way. So yeah,
you're ungrounded, right? You're walking around your day and you're ungrounded. How are you supposed to even be aware of anything at all?
Right. That's exactly where I was just going. How do you know you're being watched? Right. That's where you're going. Yep.
Yeah.
So yes. And how do you?
Because when you're not grounded, we are exposed to so much energetically that we either totally ignore it, bypass it, or we're so and you're taking this and you're taking this and you're combining them and they have absolutely no business being combined. No.
Or if you're out there, and I'm going to say this in the nicest way, but being an empath has become this big thing and it's BS. Are there empaths? Yes, but most of the time you're ungrounded. If you're out and you're feeling other people's shit, get grounded. You are not grounded. You are not meant to step into other people's lanes and get into their shit. Stop it. Get yourself grounded. When you're grounded, you are in your own lane.
Yes. If you are an empath, because we all have empathy.
Yep.
But if you are an empath, like I am an empath, Pam's an empath, it's hard to be an empath, damn it, because, and the reason I say it's hard to be an empath is because we have to be grounded to stop all the bullshit.
Yes.
And we are not meant, that's what you were just saying.
Yes.
Is be grounded and stay in your own freaking lane.
And if you really want to help another human being, if you're an empath and you like to sit with people and they talk to you and all that, which is beautiful. However, if you really want to help them, you have to stay in your own lane. You have to be grounded to truly help that person.
Mm-hmm. So, and you have to learn how to hold space for them, which means stop being a goddamn empath.
Yes. And learn to hold space is another huge one for yourself, for other. I want to be careful there. All right. So
got off track. Sorry.
No, that's okay. That's what we do. So it feels more like our podcast than anything else, right? We should probably rename this a podcast. So Unmasking Magic Podcast.
Maybe.
So we all know what it's like to be out somewhere. Maybe you're in a crowd of people. Maybe you're not. Maybe you walk into a coffee shop and there's only 2 people there or something. You can feel, that feeling that someone is like watching you, especially you women out there. Know what it's like because men are pretty good about not letting you know they're checking you out, but they do. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter, it's not all like sexual or whatever, but they do. And then women are Miss Judgy Judge. And so they're out there judging everyone that walks in. Mm-hmm. Anyway, you know what it's like to feel. That's what it feels like. It feels like someone is physically standing in the room watching you.
Yes.
Plain and simple. That's real. And there is a different feeling, and there's no way to teach for you to just know this. It's something that's taught are they astral projecting or are they remote viewing? There's a difference. So they could energetically be standing in your room or they could be remote viewing. And there's a difference. But in the big picture, it feels.
They said this about remote viewing and astral projection in a different video. And they have yet to really describe how they know the difference, except for it's a different feeling. So I'm very evidence-based. That's why I like tarot, because I can show you the cards. This is where I'm getting this energy from. This is what triggered it. This is why it triggered it. So I'm very evidence-based. It's just who I am. I've always been this way because I'm Scorpio, because I don't know. It's just part of who I am. And so for them to say, I can tell when it's an astral projection and I can tell when it's a remote viewing. And that's what they're saying, that's taking what they're saying at face value, at truth, which I don't. But we're just going to go down the rabbit hole. Bear with me. Come down the rabbit hole with me about this. For them to know the difference, they would have to had very specific practice. What I mean by that is, I feel a very certain way in my body when something really bad happens, and I don't know what it is. For example, there was a gunman in New Zealand. This was years ago. I used to work for a company, I still do sometimes, that was based in New Zealand. And a lot of my clients were in New Zealand. And there was a gunman in New Zealand that killed 100 people, a lot of people. I don't know. It was a lot. And it was unusual. There's not usually shootings in New Zealand. And that day, out of nowhere, and this was back before I was getting really heavy migraines. This was back before I was going through the hormonal heaviness of the perimenopause. So my body was pretty consistent behaviorally. Out of nowhere, I was super nauseous. I was super sad. I couldn't figure out why. And then a few hours later, I had a reading from New Zealand, and the customer was like, "Hey, did you hear about this awful thing?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I think I felt that." And then it happened again with a family thing when one of our family cats, my aunt's cat, who I was extremely close to, got sick and passed. I felt him pass. I didn't know that's what I was feeling. I felt very heavy. I felt very sad. I felt very sick. I felt very anxious. I didn't feel right in my body. My body felt a very certain way. And it was maybe just a few hours later, I get a message from my aunt that Hope had passed. Happened when her other cat, Shadow, passed. Same thing. So when I start to get certain sensations in my body as a psychic intuitive, I don't love calling myself a psychic, but as an intuitive, I have learned over a long time, and it happens with solar flares as well, often. If I feel a certain way in my head, and I am prone to migraines, so I have lots of different tools that I use to help with that. I have very small, basic over-the-counter medications that I'll take. I'll try coffee. I'll try to make sure that I'm hydrated, a certain amount. And then I have prescription medications that I up it to. So often when there's major, major solar flares, I'll feel a certain way, and I can't, no matter what tools I use, I can't get it under control. And it's a very specific feeling in my head. And then it turns out, oh, we have solar flares. And I started checking them when I would feel this way. Like, are there solar flares right now? Sure enough. Yep, there's solar flares right now. So you can't prove that. So that's why I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. But like, I can't prove to you, oh, I felt this way and it's because this happened. I felt this way and it's because that happened. I can't give you guys evidence of that. It's something I've learned about my body and my gifts with time, right? I still can't prove it to you, but I know in my body when I feel this way, something big is going on. Something's going on, and I don't have all the information yet, but I will. It happens with relationships and men as well, but that's a totally different thing. I'll feel a certain way if I know that they're really hiding something big from me, and I won't know what that something big is. And time again over the years, it turns out I was always right. Something was being hidden from me over many, many, many years. We're talking decades that I've learned this in my body. When I feel this way, I need to trust it. I don't know what's going on, but I need to trust it. So that may be what they're talking about. Like, they can't teach that. Everybody feels something. If you're an intuitive, if you're a psychic, if you're a medium, we all feel and interpret these feelings in a different way. So what I feel when those things happen, you might have an experience and it's not the same way, but you have a feeling as well, right? So that doesn't make my experience wrong or your experience wrong. The symptoms just might be different. So to get back to where I'm going with this remote viewing versus astral projection, the only way because of my experiences that I have learned, the only way that they could actually learn something like that is they would have to test it out over and over and over and over again. What I mean by that is, let's say I can remote view and astral project. I would have to, and I knew them. Pam would have to have somebody remote view them, and confirm that they're remote viewing. Yes, Pam, I remote viewed you. Okay, I'm going to do it now. Can you send something? Okay, I'm going to do it and I'm not going to tell you. Did you pick that up? Like over and over, testing it over and over and over, and talking, sometimes knowing, not knowing, but confirming with that remote viewer. Oh, I felt this. Were you doing it then? No? Oh, okay. Like to test out the body, the feelings that she's getting. Same thing with astral projection. Same thing towards Mary Lynn. So somebody would have to be on and off sporadically, but also planned, remote view and or astral project to each of them at different times so that they could learn, what does that feel like? I highly doubt that happened. And that's what I mean by evidence-based. So somebody who can remote view would have needed to do this over and over and over again to each of them individually without telling them, so that they could practice what it feels like when somebody's doing that to them. I 99.9% doubt that they've actually done that. Because from what it sounds like, they don't know anybody who can do those things. So how can you practice that if you don't know somebody who can do that? There's no proof. You're guessing. You have no way of knowing somebody is actually astral projecting or remote viewing you. You have no way of knowing that if you're having this certain feeling, that that's what that means. How do you know that? It could literally mean somebody in your family is having a hard time. It could mean one of your clients is having a hard time. It could mean your pet's having a hard time. It could mean somebody else. Like, there's no way. There's no way for you to know that this specific symptom feeling is because of astral projection. Unless if you've practiced it dozens, hundreds of times with somebody who can do it, so that you know, okay, every time I feel this, that's what this means. There's no way. I call bullshit. And that's if they actually can truly sense it, which I don't think they can. I call bullshit. Okay. Let's keep going.
It's very similar. And it really doesn't matter in the big picture.
It really doesn't.
For me, how I counter it, it makes a difference for me, but I'm in a different position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So in the big picture, whether they're astral projecting or remote viewing, they are still being unethical. They are still crossing a line and
100%.
Excuse me, entering a space that they have not been invited into.
Correct.
So
unethical according to who? According to who? According to you. Oh, look at their faces. Sorry, on the pause game. I didn't do that on purpose. Unethical according to who? Who's decided that? Christian. The Christian ladies. That's what I think I'm going to start calling them. The TCS, Everyday Psychics. The C is supposed to be conscious. I want to call them Christians. The Christian, I don't even know what S. The Christian spirit, Everyday Psychics. Anyway, let's keep going.
Okay, it's not okay.
It's not okay. It's just not. Yeah.
All right. I think we've covered it all. Do you think? I can't think of anything else. Ask your questions, please.
Yes, go on for another 13 minutes.
Yes.
So.
Now, if you find somebody watching you and you feel somebody's watching me, first thing, get grounded.
Yep.
Next thing, step into that place of your self-love,
which coincides with holding space for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's not as easy as we are making it sound. It is not as simple as just, grounded in this place.
No.
Own yourself.
No, it takes a lot of practice.
It does take a lot of practice.
And you can do it. And you can do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there you go. We said we would show up we would do something when we got attacked. And that was a really good sort of explanation, or that was a situation that So
yeah.
Wow. Okay. So that was their evidence. And they never explained how they knew it was from the same person. Just because the coincidence of they both had experiences around the same time. It's because Marilyn woke up on the bad side of the bed one day and was having a bad day and messaged Pam, and Pam said, "Oh, you're being attacked." And then Pam had a rough moment with a client, which then made her go, "Oh, I'm being attacked too." Seriously, that's your evidence? Wow. Wouldn't stand up in a court of law, that's for damn sure. All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We might come back because there's recently we were asked to, this will be another one, I think. What happens when the whole coven shows up to watch you, which happened very recently with you. Yes. It has happened with me, but it didn't happen this time. It was kind of nice being on the outside of that going, ooh.
And yeah, this was, I don't know how much to say. Because do we want to talk about this now, or is this another?
Oh, go ahead. Might as well.
So I am grateful, mostly because of my ego, that mine happened while I was sleeping. I mean, it woke me up. I was awake, but it was in the middle of the night, and it was while I was.
What happens when a whole coven shows up to watch you? This is going to be interesting. I don't have any experience being in a coven. And I've said this, there's a whole video I did about coven stuff. I don't have any experience with being in a coven. So I don't know. Let's just see what they have to say about this. I would be shocked if this is truth, but let's see.
Sleeping, as opposed to when it happened to you, you're, it's middle of the evening. You're up, you're awake, you're interactive.
Yes.
I'm going to say yours was aggressive. Mine was more passive.
Oh, mine was very aggressive.
Yours was extremely aggressive.
Yeah.
Mine was very passive. Started off with a paranormal visit, an entity.
Which higher witches do use entities to do their bidding a lot, a lot.
And
higher
with
witches.
this one, I'm like, oh no, I am sleeping. You need to go away. You're from a clearing. I will deal with you.
Yes.
When it's time for the clearing. And I go to sleep, or go back to sleep, and I wake up, and I'm like, oh man, there's a witch involved with that entity that came. And so I'm like in my sleep, I'm doing what I need to do to remedy this situation, and I fall asleep right in the middle of it, and I wake up again, and it's like, so the feeling of that witch had come in had grown like tenfold. And there are like eyes on me, but on like my whole home is like surrounded. Like I said, I was very grateful in the moment that this was a passive thing.
Commercial.
This was from a heal. This is from a clearing that we were going to do.
Yep. Yeah. And I'm like, oh shoot, okay. And things were kind of making sense now for what was going to be coming up.
Yeah.
And so as I'm laying there, I'm wanting to just sleep.
The low vibration is getting me. Okay.
And yet I had to do what I had to do. I had to be in my authority, in my ownership, and take care of the situation.
Yep.
And I did.
Yep.
And finally was able to go to sleep.
More often than not, it's one, maybe two witches show up. When the whole coven shows up, the first time is really alarming. The first time
So all she said was that she had the sense of being watched, and she just knew it was a witch. And she knew that it was eyes. There was eyes everywhere. I don't know. I have a hard time believing that. What I'm more apt to say is that she probably had a bad dream and thought that this is what was happening. That's what I'm more apt to say. But let's see what Pam has to say now. And you had to do what you had to do to get rid of it. Well, what did you do? What did you do? You're not going to give us any details. So I just find it very interesting how vague they are about, and I don't know if that's intentional, so that the witches don't find out what they do, or so that, or maybe because it's bullshit. I don't know. I don't know, but it's a very basic, vague example experience, and then doesn't even really explain what you claim to have done to get rid of them. Okay, cool. A whole coven. What did you do to get rid of this whole coven? I did what I had to do. Well, what the fuck was that? Vague. And I think it's intentional.
You feel threatened, which is what they're trying to do. They're trying to threaten you.
Mm-hmm.
It's one time, and then after that, you kind of like been there, done that. Okay, I've been here, I've done it. I know what it feels like. Same thing when you're learning how to work with really dark entities. The first time scares the piss out of you. But then as you move through, you know your teams are there, you know you're safe, you know you've got this.
Yeah.
Because when you do what we do, now I'm not saying this is with everyone, but I'm just going to refer to Marilyn and I.
Mm-hmm.
Everything for us is a classroom. So
Yes.
after that situation happens, that first one, our guidance takes us, we're literally in a classroom and shows us the whole picture, shows us how to walk through it, what to do, how to maneuver it. So the next time it happens, which it always happens again, it's not that big of a thing. You can just kind of get through it and
get through it.
Do what you need to do to back them off. And then sometimes the fear comes later, like, holy shit, what just happened? I know that that certainly happens with me a lot with a lot of the low vibrational entities. I'm there, take care of business. Then after everything's said and done, we're done with the clearing, everything, we shut down space, and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, holy mother.
What just happened?
Yeah.
what just happened?
And that can happen in these types of situations too.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So
and thank you for bringing that up, because I realized, I'm saying, I just did what I had to do. Well, that's not really totally honest. My guidance walked me through what I needed to do.
Yes. And another thing is never think that you're doing something.
Exactly.
It is we're such, Marilyn says we're 5%, I say we're 10% of it. And we're the human piece of it, but it's all happening. That's why it's important to know who your guidance is, who your teams are, where in the hierarchy you are. And this is, so like guardians.
Hierarchy. This is funny. So your guidance, your team's hierarchy, this is interesting. I'm not saying that we've talked about this in other things where I have experience with certain protective energies. But where I want to go with this for a second, and I don't know what the heck she's going to say, what Pam's going to say. Pam has repeatedly talked about how witches use entities to come and spy, or to do this, or to do that, or to do the bidding, or to do this. Right now, she's talking about guidance and guardians. It's the same fucking thing. It's just a different label. It's like saying human / people. Same thing, different label. All right, let's see.
You all know that I use guardians. So does Marilyn. Marilyn uses guardians too. Not that she just knows that I am. But it's after you get to a certain level that you get to meet teams that are higher. As you go.
Boy. Wow. Okay, I want to see what the rest. Okay.
Do I still have the same teams that I've had for 30 years? Of course I do. I can tell them anytime. However, as you go, you step up and you get higher and higher vibrational beings that have way more skills that take you into other places. So I know this happens a lot with the paranormal. We'll get emails. People will say, well, I was taking on this demon and I called in the guardians, but they didn't do anything, or they didn't show up, or I thought they showed up, but they couldn't take care of the problem and I got hurt and then blah, 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 blah. Because you're not at a spiritual level for that.
Right.
Someday, will you? Very possible.
Wow. Okay. So I don't even know. I'm like processing what she just said. So she believes that the more advanced you get spiritually, the higher up you go with some kind of protective spiritual team. And the higher you go, the higher you move spiritually, the higher, I don't even know how to freaking define that. You go up levels, there's levels. Oh my God. Intrusive thought moment. All I can think of, so one of my favorite shows, this is going to be a super tangent, but we got to do it. We got to do it, guys. Hopefully you'll come with me along for the ride for a moment. One of my favorite shows is Community. And it's about a bunch of people that were in a community college and they're kind of all losers and like their characters are, it's a comedy, it's funny, whatever. Chevy Chase is an older man that goes to this community college. His character is called Pierce, and he ends up getting into this cult that is called the Laser Lotus. And he believes that he has to go up these levels of the Laser Lotus, and he gets these like what did he get? He gets these different like these different things. One of the things he got was a lava lamp, and that was where he was going to go when he died. I mean, it's obscure, and I can't even remember the whole thing because I haven't seen it in so long. But all I can think of is he was Laser Lotus 5, Laser Lotus level 5. So now I can do this. Now I can do this. Like it's like these levels that are completely made up, and I've never heard of such a thing. Not that I know of. I have never, not that I can remember. Maybe I have, and I'm just not recalling because my memory has been messed up with the grief and stuff. But like, have you guys ever heard of such a thing? There's different kinds of gods and goddesses and angels and support and team and different kinds of spiritual support. That sure. There's different things out there spiritually. Angels, archangels, guardian angels. There, even just that with Christianity. Then there's, different kinds of gods and goddesses from other pantheons, like Kali Ma from Hindu, and Ganesha or Isis or God, Osiris. Like I'm not really thinking, I'm kind of drawing a blank because I wasn't prepared for this, but there's all different kinds of entities. I'm going to use that word generally speaking, not the way that they do. There's all kinds of spiritual beings out there. And then there's even our loved ones who have passed over, which is the majority of what guides me in my readings. The majority are my ancestors. This is just crazy to me. My brain is not even comprehending what the hell she's talking about. So she's basically saying the more work you do, the higher, the next level I'm thinking of like a freaking video game. The next level you go up, the more skills you get. I mean, I understand in the spiritual world, and it is like this in witchcraft as well, as the more practice you are doing, the more work you do. And it is even like this in psychology when you're working on yourself and self-love, the more skills you learn. It's like that in anything. It's like that in education. It's like that in being an electrician. It's like that being a cook. Like there's certain, there's basic skills and then there's more, and then you can build on top of it. And then there's mastery. Like, yeah, pretty much any skill that exists, it kind of functions like that. But the way that she's saying it, it's like you go up levels with these guardians, and then they give you the skill to help. How crazy is that? I don't know if that's in the Bible, if that's a Christian thing. I don't know if that's just a her thing. I don't know. It's pretty out there for me. I mean, I've followed some people that are pretty out there, and there's a whole thing I'm going to be talking about soon about twin flame stuff. But even this is pretty out there. I don't think I have heard in all of the different spiritual practices I've learned about, and this is what I mean, there's a lot that I don't know. I don't think I've ever heard of such a thing in my life. I don't know. I could be wrong. And watch. I did take a glimpse at their website, and I'm already at an hour and 36 minutes of recording, so I'm not going to look at their website today, but they have different hierarchies of learning. And that could be some of what she's talking about. Like if you take our courses, we'll help you get to those levels. I'm wondering if that's where this is going, but let's see.
But I'll tell you, you need to be around at least 50 years old. I know that sounds daunting for some of you who are young watching this thinking, do I have to?
You have to be a certain age? What? Oh, okay. I really didn't see this coming. Talk about elitism, gatekeeping. You have to, if you're not 50, at least 50, you don't get to work with certain spirits. You don't get to know about them. All right, sorry.
Wait that long? Yes, you do. Yes, because you are not.
To stock up on my skincare faves at CVS. They've got everything I need for a full skincare reset. I got everything ranging from
healed enough, you're practiced enough, you haven't.
Sorry, you guys, there was a commercial, of course, but my mind is blown right now. This is like really out there for me. Really out there for me. And I started with Doreen Virtue and Hay House stuff, you know, decades ago. So this is really out there. All right.
Let me have the right situations enough. You don't know your teams enough. You don't have that connection with spirit yet. There is a reason that you are that age before you can really do the work. So enough preaching from me.
Wow.
But,
absolutely.
Yes. And I say that because I want you all to be safe, because we know so many people watch us to learn and to go out and do what we do. And, you know, sometimes it'll work out, but it's not always. And
sometimes it's disastrous.
Yes. And you will get.
And for you to teach this bullshit is insane. This is why influencing is so freaking dangerous. This is why social media, this is like the dark end of social media, and we're going to talk about the twin flames. That's a whole nother piece of it. I've been doing some more research in there, but this is where it's so dangerous because it's not regulated. I'm not regulated either. Nobody's monitoring me, making sure that the only thing that I get regulated on is copyrights and like making sure that I'm not slandering anybody. That's it, pretty much. So like, yeah, none of it's regulated. And like, this is why it's so dangerous, because people could be following them like they know the most of everything. And oh my God, they know so much. And I can't wait to learn from them. And they're so right. And like, oh my God, here's my money. Just take my money. So bad. That it just worries me. The people that follow them, I'm worried. Like, go ahead and follow them, but please take it with a grain of salt as just another perspective. Please don't like believe the stuff that they're saying, because it's really out there. This is really out there. Okay.
Get your ass kicked, and we do want to hear from you so we can help you.
Yes.
By the way.
Oh yeah, go get your ass kicked. Go get your ass kicked so you can give us money, and we can profit off of whatever you think you did wrong.
And think, oh, they're going to be upset with me, or they're going to be whatever because I thought I could go do it myself. Embarrassment is part of it. And we're not going to make you feel embarrassed. You need to get a hold of us so we can help you.
Absolutely.
So,
absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Please leave your questions below. Ask us if you have topics you want us to talk about.
Okay, we're done. I think they're done. They're wrapping up. They have not even 2 minutes left. So I'm going to stop sharing. I'm going to close that, and I'm going to say goodbye, you guys. So that was a lot today. That was really out there today. That was way more out there than I was expecting. I would love to hear what you guys think. I would love to hear what you guys think about this. Do you think that, like, if I wasn't commenting on them and you just watch them separately, would you be tempted to reach out to them to learn from them? Is that something, would you believe them if I wasn't here talking shit the whole time? Because I know I'm talking shit. I'm very interested. Please give me your thoughts about this, please. And if you don't want to comment it out there for others to see, feel free to email me and write something in the subject line. It doesn't have to be super specific, but you can write something to catch my attention so that I know that you're not a bot. Like, watch this video, here's my thoughts. Or no, not even, because sometimes I'll get bots that send me emails about that, like of how to improve my channel. Watch this video, I'm a viewer, here's my thought. I'm a viewer, sending you my thoughts privately or something. I won't publicize anything that's shared with me through email. I will not, especially if you're not wanting, I will never put somebody on blast, because I know some of my viewers are still in the broom closet. So I'm not gonna, that's between me and whoever sends me the thing. Like, that's it. I might share your thoughts, but I wouldn't say who. I wouldn't say where it came from. I could just say it's from a viewer, and that's all I would say. And I would ask first before I share anything. Anyway, I'm fried. Like, my mind is just like, what the hell did I just watch? In summary, I guess, to try to summarize all of that, both of them gave examples of what they believed was a witchcraft attack. Both of them believed that it was from the same witch. I don't believe that they showed any proper evidence of either, of a witchcraft attack, or evidence that they knew that it was how they knew it was the same person. It does seem like Pam seems to be the driving force of that belief, and I wonder how much she influences Mary Lynn. I'm not saying that Mary Lynn can't think for herself, but sometimes, we tend to, especially because Mary Lynn doesn't seem to have experience, doesn't work with witches at all, and Pam is very, witchcraft's bad. You need to leave witchcraft. The whole thing was strange. So my summation of it is, I don't believe any of it. It seems like it was more fear than anything. And please don't automatically assume if you have some of those symptoms that you're being attacked, because it's highly unlikely. Unless if you intentionally had something pushing back at a witch that does those kinds of things. That is a little bit different. But to just generally be walking around like, oh, I'm alone, I'm vulnerable, I'm having a bad day, and I must be getting attacked by a witch. What? And as far as grounding, it's always good to be grounded, but not because of anything that they said. It's a totally different. We'll talk about that another time. I have a video about introduction to grounding, so feel free to check that out. I think that's it for now. If you do have any videos or channels that you're interested in me reacting to, like this, feel free to email me with that information and I will put it on the list to do. I would love your feedback if you're liking this type of series. I think that's about it. It's almost the end of the month, so definitely check out my website if you're hoping to get a reading on sale. And yeah, I think that's everything. So I'm going to go. I will see you guys later. And as a reminder, that was all just my opinion and my thoughts. And thoughts are not facts. So just to cover myself there. And I'll see you guys all soon. Bye for now.